Each morning, real setups are broken down with entry strategies and technical reasoning behind every trade. This is today's best trade setups with Verified Investing.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing with your top trade setups. So I did have a question going into yesterday's or the day before's video on ASTS. I will be getting to that at the end of the show. I'll show you what the technicals are telling me for that particular chart. Also, Nvidia was running up higher yesterday. It did get a little bit of a pullback. I still think there's a little bit more upside, but it's getting into some technical resistance that I'm going to show you what I'm seeing in those charts or in that chart, and then where the next shortable level is on Nvidia and where a potential long could be if we can get a pretty significant sell-off. Also, I'm going to go into SanDisk. SanDisk had earnings on Thursday after the bell. So Friday, we had a big move up. Yesterday, we had a big move up. And I was mentioning to wait about 3 days after earnings were traded, and also to look for potential psychological levels where you could take advantage of potential downside. Well, I'm going to go into how I did that yesterday and I actually lost on that trade, trying for a day trade. This wasn't a swing trade. This was a day trade. This was in the live day trading room. How I kind of botched that and how I'm willing to go into it today, looking for more potential downside. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into AFRM. That was one of the trades that I had mentioned yesterday. I still like this potential short level if AFRM can get up to $81.42. It did have, this would be the third up day in a row. So 3 up days into a key technical short level, into this gap fill, $81.42. I'm still looking at AFRM. So the next trade that I'm looking at, or the next stock, is SNDK. Let me go ahead and go over this particular one. I mentioned $250 psychological level on SanDisk. Usually whole round numbers, psychological numbers are what usually get resistance or support. In this case, because it was extended to the upside, it was going to get some resistance, get up to 250. And then it shot up to 255. So I actually entered the trade at $250. Actually added it 255. And then I added it 260. So each one of these is $5 increments to the upside. I actually had 10% of my portfolio in each one of the positions. It finally came back down in. I could have taken profits at about $52. I was actually waiting for a pierce of 50. Then it got up to $65. I added to the position. And then it got up to $70. Finally ended up taking a little bit of a loss on that particular trade. Was in the money several times. I didn't take profits on that particular trade. The reason that I didn't take profits is because I anticipated more sellers coming out, profit takers. This thing had been up 800% in a short amount of time. So I figured at some point profit takers would come in. Excuse me, that didn't happen. So I ended up taking a loss on that particular trade. Now, if it gets up to 275 on SanDisk, today, this is a key technical shortable level for me. It did get there in the post market yesterday. So 275 is where the next key technical resistance level is. Then you have a max upside, and this is for a swing trade, max upside of $300. Look at this move. So this is from the October 25th highs. Take this extension move, even getting up to $275. So think about this. The 6th of October. It is now the 11th of November, 105% up to the $275 level. Now, if it goes up to $300, it's going to be up 123%. That is an insane move for any company, let alone SanDisk. It is above this upsloping trend line. So once we can get price action below this upsloping trend line, then it's likely to head back into this gap fill at $240. Once it breaks that gap fill, then look at how much potential downside it has to go. It could get down to $176 in a short amount of time on SanDisk. All right. So Nvidia is the other stock that I was mentioning yesterday. I thought it was going to continue higher today. It did hit about the $200 even round or whole round number. So let's go ahead and go into Nvidia and show you what I'm seeing. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this kind of a hidden trend line. So you've got this pivot low from the 11th of March. and it strings through basically this price action that happened on the tariff news. So this is kind of more of an anomaly. Price action got rejected several times. Once it got above this, look at all of the support on Nvidia. So for me, this is still a key technical support level. It did pierce this level, got down to $179, pierced $179. Now it's back above it. What's going to happen is if price can get up to $206.84, for me, that is the next level of resistance. We are currently in more of a downtrend on Nvidia than we are an uptrend based on this price consolidation and these red bar candles. So $206.84 is my swing trade shortable level. If it can get up there today, I will actually short this on a day trade as well. But look for that pierce or look for price action, get up there and take advantage of this downtrend on Nvidia. The nice thing about shorting going back up into resistance is if it gets back above $212 on a daily closing basis, this would be a good opportunity to get out of the trade because then the trend could shift and then it goes higher. If we can break that upsloping trend line to the downside, recapture the $180 level to the downside, I think we're going back down to 175 or even lower. This gap fill still needs to be filled at $170 on Nvidia. You break this upsloping trend line, and that's where it's going to go, $170.29 on Nvidia. Solar Edge is another stock that I'm looking at. It had a couple huge days that it ran to the upside. It actually had a monster move yesterday, got rejected at this $48.25 level. So currently, I also look at the relative strength index, and the RSI on Solar Edge is actually above the 70. The price action and the RSI have done a pretty good job of correlating with each other. So as soon as the RSI gets above 70, it usually gets some sort of a pullback. So right now, my line in the sand is $48.25. That is a key technical level that you could actually short this today. If it does break above that on a 15-minute closing basis, you'll want to wait until that next key support or resistance level at $52.83. That is where the next level of resistance is. It's also a gap fill in the charts. So two levels that I'm looking at. And again, look at the RSI. It's getting up into that key technical resistance level. MP is another stock that I'm looking at. Shortable level, if it can get up there today at $70.81. This is the one that's also correlates really well on the RSI. It hit the 7 or the 30, got a nice bounce. But look at the technical resistance levels and support levels on MP. Look at what happened. So you have this beautiful upsloping trend line that goes back to the 2nd of December. Notice how once it got back to that level, it got a lot of support. And then you match that up with a secondary pivot, and you've got a lot of support. Now, also, I want you to notice that when price action got to this pivot, this is actually where it bounced. So it pierced this pivot level, pierced this upsloping resistance level, support level, got a bounce right off of this support. Now it's expected to go up to $70.81. This is a gap fill on the charts, and the move from the $50 up to the $70, that's a 40% move in 3 days. So look for it to get up to $70.81. That is more of a day trade. So you can look for about a 4 to 5% pullback on MP. If it closes above $70.81 on a 15-minute closing basis, consider stopping out of the trade and then look for a potential move back up into the $80 level on this chart. Okay, ASTS, again, this was one of the stocks that somebody had asked me about. I will mention that it did have earnings yesterday. And so please know that the technical analysis that I'm going to go over isn't valid until about 3 days from now. You could potentially try to play it, but until the 3-day mark, we don't really know how the investors are going to settle into this particular stock. So there could be a lot more volatility, which adds to the risk of ASTS, especially when ASTS is more of a meme stock. So it kind of moves with the crowd. So here's the technical analysis on ASTS. So what I did was I connected this high from the 22nd of August, secondary pivot high, again, as a recent all-time high is 21 at the 21st of July. Price action got support on this level several times. It looked as if price action was going to close below it, and it did, but it never confirmed. And then what happened is price action got back above this upsloping trend line, and now it's starting to look like it's going to get back below on this trend line. What we're looking for is a pierce of this support level with confirmation. So what that means is it basically a continuation downside move. So if we would have had a continuation on this move to the downside, it would trigger the shortable level or a bullish setup. Bearish setup, meaning that the stock is likely to head lower. It did get support right above this pivot high. My buy level is $56.94. If it is to break this upswing trend line and head lower, this is a key technical support level with potential to go back down to $49.20. That's my secondary level. If price action stays above this upswing trend line, it is likely to head higher and get back up into this $80 level on ASTS. It's still technically in a downtrend. And how you can spot that is you've got this pivot top, you've got a low, you got a lower high and a lower low. So to maintain the bearish sentiment, you need to make sure that you don't take out this high pivot, and then it's likely to roll over a little bit more on ASTS. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I know one of the comments says Roku. I will go over Roku next time if there's anything that's looking promising in that particular chart. If there's something interesting, I'll take a look, and I'll get back to you tomorrow. FIS is another one that I'll take a look at and see if it's something that I can give some alpha on for tomorrow as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for leaving the comments. Thanks for being live with me. It helps, it supports the channel, helps support me, and gives me some feedback as well. If you guys enjoy this, please make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, following, and ringing that bell so you can get notified every single morning. No, it's okay. Anyway, ASTS. Gareth Holloway is going to be going live. He's going to go over Nvidia, how it had news, and he's going to tell you some interesting facts about what's going on in the quantum sector that you guys do not want to miss. And that's going to be going live in less than 3 minutes. We'll see you guys next time in the charts. You guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.